Ah, the peaceful and serene life on the farm. Rows of corn, a nice farmhouse, a silo or two to store grain, and... Wait a minute, did that corn stalk just talk to me? Is that a Russian bear with a Soviet background helping me out? Yes it is. This is Maize, a game by Finish Line Games that came out December 1st, 2016. I'm Weise, aka Thomas, and thank you for checking out my review. Alright guys, so Maize. Basically, the world here is quite different than what you see in other titles. As your character starts in a gorgeous atmosphere surrounded by rows and rows of corn stalks, the story begins to unfold and you find out that two scientists have taken a government contract to create sentient corn. That is, corn that is basically personified, animated, and has human-like conditions. Without spoiling too much of the game itself, it has this overall flow, and as you find out more and more about the story, who you are as a character, and what your purpose is in the game, everything just kind of nests together really well. Although the game does take only about 3 to 4 hours to complete, the story really is quite good, with a lot of little collectibles to pick up along the way that tell you a little bit more about the background, the world you're living in, and basically the hatred that these two scientists had for each other. So you do this in ways of picking up like little clippets that are here and there, a lot of sticky notes throughout the game, and just a cool way to kind of tell the story to you. Moving into gameplay, Maize is basically a first-person point-and-click adventure game. Most point-and-clicks are usually from like a side-scroll type way, and we saw this a lot back in the late 90s, early 2000s with games from LucasArts and Sierra Online. But with this being first-person, it's a little bit different than usual. So you travel around collecting items and then using those items in either a combination with each other or items in the world to unlock new areas, progresses the story, and allow you to move forward. Sadly, as a huge fan of these point-and-click games, it felt really kind of clunky in Maize. I felt like everything was very clear and easy, really obvious which items were to be used where, and basically that's because they had these little outlines in the environmental objects that basically show exactly where the item should be placed. You can tell by the outline that in this area right here, this is where the ball goes, and this area here, this is where the key goes. And then the items themselves had basically these clues on them that were pretty much easy mode that just told you exactly what to do. I don't think I ever really found myself saying, oh, I wonder what I do with this. As soon as I saw the area it went to, I just knew exactly what item was there, where a lot of the old point-and-click adventures would kind of have a little bit more puzzling aspect to it. Now, that doesn't mean that this is a bad game, it just means that this element wasn't used to its full potential. It served literally as just a barrier to continue progression, rather than that fun puzzle-solving mechanic that I would have preferred. Again, the game takes only about 3 to 4 hours to complete, which feels pretty short in my opinion, and really a lot of it is because you're slowed by progress of just having to run back and forth to different areas to collect things, move a little bit forward in one piece of the puzzle, then run back and get more items. I beat it in 2 sessions total and really did enjoy my time with it, but even though the story was pretty good and the gameplay itself wasn't too terrible, I just can't help but think that $20 price tag is a little bit much for what you get. Now, moving into the visuals, the game is just absolutely stunning. It was built using the Unreal Engine, Unreal Engine 4 I believe, and you can tell that a lot of time was just put into the environmental art, the face rigging for the animations of the characters, and just everything else around here too. When the characters actually talk, you can really see that facial animation and rigging in there, and it's really crazy how well they did with it. When I first heard of Maize and realized they were going to have corn stalks talk to me, I was a little confused on how it was going to look. But from the very start, you can really see just how beautiful this game is and how well done the animations are and these sentient beings. I personally didn't notice any type of graphical issues at all with playing the game, but I have heard that others have seen issues with the lighting in some areas where signs aren't really being fully lit. There might be some weird shadow casting and things like that. Some people have talked about complaints about flickering lights that were overhead and almost like a seizure-prone nature, though I kind of felt that was environmental and intended and not really an issue. And then some other people have talked about some minimal frame drops here and there within some of the rooms that have some more complex elements like water or something like that. Overall though, I really think Finish Line Games kicked ass in the graphics department. I mean, Unreal Engine is known for being this beautiful engine. Of course, Unity has released demos such as the Atom demo that have shown how beautiful it can be as well, but Unreal just really always seems to push the limits, and games that are in Unreal, you can tell just by how beautiful they are. There's so much variety and contrast in the different areas of the world, whether you're above ground in the farm region or underground in different parts of the lab. The game was just really beautiful all throughout. Now, coming off the high of those visuals, however, I really do wish I could say the audio was up to par. Unfortunately, the game really let me down here. Outside of a few scenes within the game, including the closing credits for that matter, the game basically plays the same tune throughout the entire world, and it's really not that entertaining. It's not that it's a bad song or that it's not, musically appealing to you or anything like that, but it just basically repeats these various tones over and over and over and over again. and it gets old really fast. I mean, every time you kind of step into a new area, you hear these kind of tones get a little bit louder, and then they fade out, and you hear them off and on throughout there, and it tries to act like it's maybe a new track or something like that, but it's really the same thing looping throughout the entire game. On the voice acting end, however, the game was able to save face and give a great experience again. Though there wasn't as much of it as I had hoped throughout the game, when the various characters in the world did speak, I really felt like the voice acting was well done. From Vladdy, the Soviet teddy bear that you meet early on that helps you throughout your travels, to the various cornstalks who talk to you, they really do feel personified, human-like. They have features and emotions and some characteristic to them. A little bit of thought went into them, they aren't completely flat like you might expect. Now you combine that with the animation of those facial riggings that I mentioned earlier, and you get a really enjoyable experience in this realm. Again, the music's not great, the voice acting's perfect. Now, when I review games, I always like to talk about the value you get from the game in terms of replayability. That's where I usually sink my money into, is how many hours I get for the amount of money I spend, or how many hours I can go back into it playing it over and over again, unlocking different things, etc. Unfortunately with Maize, what you see is what you get. As I said earlier, it's a 3 to 4 hour experience that's pretty great, but not something I would go back again through anytime soon. When you look at a game like Firewatch, which took you on this fantastic story and journey, you may look at this and wonder if it's similar due to them being at the same price. Unfortunately for me, Firewatch was actually worth the $20 for the gameplay experience, and Maize just wasn't. It's not to say that Maize is a bad game, I just think it's a little bit overpriced for what you actually get. There really is no replay value here, truly, so, consider that before purchasing it if you were upset with Firewatch in the way that, once you kind of see one gameplay or you watch one Let's Play of it, you're done. There's no need to play it at that point. Now, overall, kind of wrapping everything up here, in conclusion, Maize really is a good game. I mean, it's overpriced in my opinion, but it's definitely worth picking up on a sale so you can be able to enjoy the story, the gameplay elements, and the different characters within there. The game's visually stunning, and really the story, again, it's pretty good. The overall experience is worth enjoying, even if you just end up watching it on maybe a complete playthrough or a Let's Play on YouTube or something like that. That said, I do have all the links in the description if you wanted to pick it up. And I mean, again, it's worth picking up, maybe add it to your wish list and pick it up on a sale, or if you have another Steam gift card or something like that from a birthday, that's when I would look at picking it up. If I didn't just watch a Let's Play myself and I wanted to play through it myself, that's how I would do it. So guys, I really hope that you enjoyed watching. I've been Weise, aka Thomas. This was my review of Maize. Thank you. Have a great day.